Cubs make a blockbuster trade with the Astros, and they get Kyle Tucker. They got him for 1 year. Then they go out and sign Carson Kelly to a 2-year contract. So now they got a catcher. Building this roster as they head into the 2025 season. Two enormous moves for the Cubs, and we're going to talk about them right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Let's get it going, man. Cubs fans, you got to be pretty fired up about it. Making moves. Yeah, I think these are good moves. I really do. Hey, everybody. Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball channel. Great to have you guys with us. At Broadcaster Mick on the socials, and it is great to talk to you guys today. Look, there's so much going on right now, and I got to tell you, yesterday was a fun day. I mean, really, it was. They got the deal done with the Astros for Kyle Tucker, and it's a risky deal. Look, you can't say that this is a perfect deal for the Cubs. I mean, anytime, you're trading guys off the roster that you have, basically contract stability for a player that is a 1-year rental, it's a situation where what are you going to do, right? I mean, it's win now or else thing, right? And the other thing would be maybe Kyle Tucker has a great season and you re-sign him. That was what the Yankees did with Juan Soto. They got to the World Series, so that makes it a successful season. They didn't win it, but they still got there, and I think that makes it a big deal, right? Winning a pennant. So former World Series champion Kyle Tucker with the Cubs. Cubs gave up Hayden Wesneski, pitcher. I'm not that hurt about that loss. I sock Paredes. They traded him again, right? Second time the Cubs have traded Paredes. Remember, they drafted him and they traded him to the Tigers, and this time they trade him after getting him back from Tampa Bay to the Astros. But the problem was he didn't produce. I mean, and you're going, well, is this guy going to be able to hit at Wrigley? I mean, he can hit when no one's showing up in Tampa, but what about when we're all watching and you're a big deal? So he'll go to the Astros, probably a little bit easier of a media market. And then Cam Smith, and this was the Cubs' first-round pick. He was the 14th selection overall out of Florida State. Guy can hit. He can hit for power. He barrels the ball up. He got the Double-A last year in a short amount of time. I mean, that's kind of how they do it now. When these guys are drafted, they push them right up through the system. So that's what happened there. I don't know what it's going to look like long term. Guy can play a little bit. I don't think that they're giving up a superstar player, but you just don't know. I mean, he may develop into that. That's a first round pick though. So that is the Astros getting a lot back for Kyle Tucker, but Kyle Tucker is legitimately a superstar player. I mean, he's the kind of guy who you want on your team. I mean, these are, he's in the same category as Mookie Betts. He's in the same category to me as Manny Machado, as, Bryce Harper. I mean, they're star players. They're star players that have proven that they can help win and they can win championships. Tucker also known for leadership. I think that's another thing that the Cubs could definitely use. Somebody that's pushing in the clubhouse to make this team a better team, because 83 and 79 is not cutting it. You got to get the 90 wins, and you want players that expect and demand the most that you could possibly get as far as the win-loss column, and it's not all about the personal stats. It's about climbing the ladder and winning at the, honestly at the level where you make a run for a championship. So it's going to be fun seeing Kyle Tucker in a Cubs uniform. This is Jed Hoyer, his last gasp, right? I mean, he's putting a lot of stock in Kyle Tucker. He's got 1 year left on his contract. If he fails, no one's hiring him to be the guy that runs their front office again. And there's a lot of people that feel like he's a guy who basically rode Theo Epstein's coattails everywhere. It's his opportunity. And he's a really nice guy, and you want to see him succeed. The way that it's going to happen is that they're going to have success this year and make a legitimate run and convince ownership, yeah, they're ready to get an extension. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, so now you got another outfielder. You still got to figure out what you're doing with your outfield. Ian Happ, Pete Crow Armstrong, Seiya Suzuki, now Kyle Tucker. Maybe somebody, DHs, probably Suzuki. And then Cody Bellinger. Bellinger's getting traded. I can't see a scenario where he doesn't. But we'll find out. It's going to be interesting to see how this thing kind of continues to go as we head into the regular season. But I'm guessing the next shoe that drops is going to be Cody Bellinger, probably to the Yankees. We'll be covering that here. Now, the Cubs did something big. They went out and they got a catcher. They went out and finally nailed a catcher, Carson Kelly. They went and got a catcher that can hit a little bit. He's a former St. Louis Cardinal draft pick. They got him in the second round in the 2012 draft. He's out of Portland, Oregon. And he has played for the Cardinals. You remember him with St. Louis from 2016 to 2018. Then he was with the Diamondbacks from 2019 to 2022. Played with the Tigers and then played with Texas. And now he's with the Cubs. But, he can hit a little bit. His batting average in his major league career is 224, 54 home runs, 207 runs batted in. But really what you got him for is that behind the plate, that he can get the job done behind the plate. Him and Miguel Amaya, Matt the Theus, or whatever his name is, the guy they got from the Angels, Matt Theis. So now what do? You got three catchers. Maybe you move one of those guys out. Maybe Theis is guy that gets, let go. Who knows what's going to happen? But this is the guy they just signed 2 years. They're giving this guy, $11.5 million to be their catcher. They're putting a lot of investment into Kelly because they need it to fix that position. And it was a position of weakness for the Cubs. They're going to try to turn that into a position of strength, right? So now you got Kelly behind the plate. You got Bush at first. You got Nico at second. Don't be surprised if Nico still doesn't get traded. You got Dansby Swanson at shortstop. Nobody's going to want to pick up his contract. Third base is open. Who knows? Maybe Matt Shaw, who's played third in the minor leagues. I don't know. But that position's open again. So you went from Morel, then you went to Paredes. Now you traded him. Now you don't have a third baseman. Outfield, way too many guys. Ian Happ, Pete Crow Armstrong, Cody Bellinger, Seiya Suzuki, Kyle Tucker. So you're still a mess there. You're trying to work that out. And then, obviously some roster spots are open as well. And I think that some of those guys, like Owen Casey, like Alexander Canario, you're going to have to put these guys on the big league roster. Canario's no more options. So, we'll see what happens there. So be interesting. The Cubs aren't done trading yet. It's the only thing that they can do until they get rid of Bellinger, where then they can go out and spend some money. But bringing in Kelly has been one of the big issues for the Cubs, not having a legitimate, everyday catcher. I never was enamored by Miguel Amaya. And, ever since they got rid of Wilson Contreras, I just didn't feel like they had that everyday guy. So they're hoping that Kelly is that guy, right? So we'll see how that works out. But really interesting. Roki Sasaki is another guy to keep an eye on. Cubs are making their pitch to him. He is an absolute star. You can get him at a discount rate. And what I'm hoping is that he sees what's going on and he meets the Cubs and he says, hey, you know what? I could probably get a little more money somewhere else because of the international money available, but it doesn't matter. I want to come to the Cubs and be part of the best organization, the best team in baseball. Because I would want to do that. Look, I'd want to put that Cubs uniform on in a second if I was in his spot. And then, you're going to make that money up with basically the interest that you're going to have as a spokesman for a lot of different things. Endorsements, as they call it. So anyway, guys, that's where we are right now. Thanks for hanging out with us. Get in the comments section. Let me know what you think. Really fun week of shows. Did a live show yesterday when the Cubs made that deal. Well, if Bellinger gets traded, we'll jump on and do the same thing then. But look at the direction that this organization's going. And I don't think if you're a Cubs fan, you can be disappointed. I mean, it feels like we're moving in the right direction, and that's all you can ask for right now as we head through the hot stove season. So I'm giving them 2 thumbs up. I'm giving them 2 thumbs up. Like, You got to have the star player to build around. Got that. You got to have a catcher. Got that. Let's see if we can shore up the rotation and get some help in that bullpen and thin this outfield out a little bit. With some of these guys that need to go, so that you can basically have your veterans, but also have some of those star minor leaguers get some action as well. And all that's going to help this team have success this year. All right, Cubs Baseball Channel, like, subscribe, thumbs up, comment section. Thank you, guys. Go Cubs.